What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of the Wisemen Say podcast, powered by Yamo Media. Ty Fisher alongside Gerald Lucas. And Gerald, my friend, how art thou today?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm ready to dive in today.
Hey, man, we have not that long of a show, but we do have quite a show for you today. Special guest coming up at about the 6:45 mark. But today, recap of the Portland Timbers match, Columbus Crew and the losing 3-2. We have a Leagues Cup preview against St. Louis City tomorrow. We will have Leagues Cup predictions, and of course, the new segment, yellow card, red card. Hello, Tyler and Gerald. Up the effing up the fucking crew. Fuck St. Louis. Connor's already in the spirit for all of this.
I mean, he
Uh,
is a gooner.
Glory, glory, Man United. But all that coming up here on the Wise Men Say podcast. Gerald, let's get right into it, man. Crew versus Timbers wasn't a pleasant one, but it was a game.
Listen, rip that Band-Aid off right now. It was it was noticed and heavily that we didn't have Kucha there. On top of that, we didn't have the main man at the helm, Coach Nancy. It's I don't know what much more to say about it. I felt embarrassed to be a Crew fan.
I wouldn't say embarrassed.
Well, at
I
least in
would
the first
say,
half.
yeah. I mean, I would say probably in the first half, it was more embarrassing for the crew without Nancy, without Cucho. I mean, it was just a defensive. It was just a defensive collapse. That first goal, which was absolute, just I. It's a set piece. We haven't been good on set piece defending at all this season. Um,
Blame
but
that on Murph.
that's wild.
Because he brought it up when Columbus was doing good defending it, right?
Yeah.
He brought it up at training at media availability. And Nazi said that if they start letting set pieces, it was Murph's fault for bringing it up.
Yeah. Connor says performance-wise, that game was worse than Philly week one. I kind of agree with that.
I put it up there with Orlando on decision day.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
I think in terms of performance-wise, this was worse than Philly, because if you go back to week one against Philly, we started off hot. We started off on the front foot. We were able to get chances generated. Although Philly did have all of their attack pretty much, but I think we were able to kind of lift off our season on a good note against Philly.
Yeah.
In a very tough environment to play, because Philly is very tough to play at. But it was just it wasn't even, I wouldn't even say it was defensive collapses that cost us that game in Philly. It was just
lack of coaching.
It wasn't lack of coaching. It was just a series of unfortunate events with the handballs, with the handling offenses.
I say, well, not in Philly, right, but in Portland.
In Portland, wholeheartedly agree. It was a lack of coaching. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But that first goal, it was just a set piece. I mean, you look at how it all developed, right? Corner kick, Schulte comes out, doesn't get a clean punch on it, falls to two Portland players, and then just the crew just kind of shift up, right? And then it's just you have two back keeping Dyron Espria onside, and it's just
if they would have been up if they would have been up just a little bit more, he would have been offside.
Oh yeah, that's one of those things where you learn in soccer camp. The back line moves as one,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously they didn't.
I mean,
Schulte,
if you really want to say about performance wise, then you can't say the Philly game of this year. I
mhm.
put this performance up there with last year's San Jose. You're up 3-0 and
Oh
they're
yeah,
down a man and you walk away with a draw.
yeah,
It's one of those where that game, you had defensive mental mistakes. Portland, between the lack of coaching from assistant coach Kwame and making some mental mistakes,
mhm,
on the defensive front, because the attack was good. Don't get me wrong, even though the attack didn't really get too many shots on target, the attack was there, right?
yeah, yeah,
But the making some of those critical defensive, mistakes mentally cost the game.
I think you look at it this way, right? Obviously, we were missing Nancy, we were missing Cucho, and everything like that. That mentality where it's like next man up. It didn't seem like that against Portland.
It did for player wise, but not coach wise.
Right.
Player wise, yeah, I mean, next man stepped up. You know what I'm saying? Jason, don't get me wrong, Jason stepped up.
This hat's pissing me off, by the way. Good.
Jason stepped up. Don't get me wrong, right? Jason Jason is still coming off of a high right now.
Yeah.
You're 20 and get called up to your national team.
Mm-hmm.
First off, he was shocked that he got called for the Gold Cup, which means John Herdman was, paying attention to him,
Yeah.
watching him. But the fact that when he got in there against the U.S., when he came in, he had chances to score.
Mm-hmm.
And he created that penalty that brought Canada, level with the U.S.,
Yeah.
which I still think he should have been the one to take the PK instead of Schaffelberg. But I'm not the coach of Canada. So Jason comes in off of a high, so you let him continue with that, right?
Yeah.
Then you got arguably one of the best midfielders right now in MLS and Aiden Morris back. So that put to rest all the trade rumors.
Yeah.
Which was pretty pathetic on some of the Crew fans' part for trying to force the speculation that wasn't even warranted.
Mm-hmm.
And props to Bez and them for not disclosing why, the personal reasons he took from, the men's national team. Because quite frankly, and I probably will catch heat for it, it's none of our damn business why. Yes, he's an athlete and all that, and he has the right to full privacy. If he wants us to know why he left the team, he will come out and tell us. So you have him back. So I think it was also a combination of the chemistry was sort of broken up, right?
Yeah.
I would have left Matan in there.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where I say the lack of coaching came in. Portland, in the second half, made changes at the 62nd and 63rd minute, right?
Yeah.
Brought in 3 fresh legs.
Mora, Chara, Blanca.
And Blanca, right? You didn't make a sub until the 78th minute. You took out Mo Farsi and Yao Yaboa. And you brought in Max and Diaz. Diaz, yes, I could see because he's a lightning bolt right now. You know, he comes into the game and he definitely brings a different dynamic to the team.
Mm-hmm.
But then you bring in Max Arston. Nothing against Max, right? He showed that he deserves to be on the first team, hands down, right?
Yep.
Hands down. But you did not listen to how the game was being dictated, and you brought in Max Arston. I would have brought in Alex Matan
Yeah.
because
I agree with Connor right here. Halftime subs would have benefited us.
not even halftime, not even halftime, because when they brought those subs in for Portland at the 62nd, 63rd minute, shortly after there, that's where that third goal was scored.
Third goal was scored in the 80th minute.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Couple minutes after our guys were brought on.
Yeah, so they had a chance to set their self up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was no room to really adjust when we brought our subs in.
What about that second goal? Off a dead ball throw in. It's a defensive mental mistake there because one, nobody's keeping an eye on Espria, who is Speedy Gonzalez pretty much, but it's just a mental collapse. It has to be on the defense, no?
It does, and this is where having Milos there hurt it. You know, not having him there
Mm-hmm.
hurt us. You know, take what you want about Milos leaving. You know, we saw the writings on the wall today.
Yeah.
Um, but not having his presence there as a center back. You know, we got guys that are not used to being center back. You know, yes, they're coming along, you know, they're getting that position down. But when you got somebody that has played center back damn near their whole career,
Mm-hmm.
they know what's expected of that center back position and being able to dictate to the rest of the defensive line on where to go and who to mark and when to mark it.
Yeah.
Not having that there led to those mental mistakes on that defensive line. Which I think I'm gonna miss him because the guy's hilarious. Always fun to be around, you know, and training and you know when we get to interview him and all that. So I'm gonna miss him, you know, but wish him the best of luck.
I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that Schulte needed to do better coming off his line for
No,
that second goal. I was about to ask what your thoughts on that were.
no, because Schulte's been playing lights out, right? Schulte also, I think that this is the first game where he's had the most saves that he's ever had in his career so far.
I thought the New York game was.
Okay, so that was the New York one.
Yeah.
I'm getting flip-flopped, but Schulte was doing everything that he was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, had he come up off his line a little sooner, who knows what would have happened? Another foul drawn in the box. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else is able to slip, you know, to the far post, and there goes a cross. You know what I'm saying? Or it becomes an own goal. You know, a shot is taken, and it, you know, he doesn't get a handle on it, and it goes in.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't fault Schulte at all. Schulte, you know, Schulte played his line, and that's the end of it.
Connor says, I think going into the second half of the season, the new guy, I would assume he's talking about Chaberco.
Yeah.
And Gressel will be huge on defense for us, especially Gressel, a guy who's been around the league and knows the league. I'm excited to see what he brings. I'm also excited to see how he fits into the system. Gerald, I know me and you were talking about that quite a bit after training today. We'll get into that here in a bit. But yeah, I don't think, I mean, it's 1v1 with Dyron Espria. There's really not much Schulte can do there except make himself bigger and come off his line and not draw a foul inside the box like he did against the Red Bulls.
And that's hard.
On the flip side, you also have to make sure you're communicating with your defense like, hey, this guy's running late. We've already gotten beat kind of a little bit already on transition. You know, how can we, as Jason put it, how can we nullify those quick transition moments? It also comes back to Steven Moreira. Why was Steven Moreira so far high? What went into that? Obviously, we were told he has the ability, but yes, we know he has the ability, but why did he play so high up?
Why was it allowed?
Yeah, why was it allowed? It doesn't make sense. Was that a Nazi decision? Was that a assistant coach decision? We'll never know because we didn't get told. But the defense in that game was just non-existent. And it kind of sucks because we were on an 8-game unbeaten streak. Yeah. We could have gotten a draw out of that game. I would have been fine with a draw.
If that third goal, never happened, I was happy with, a point in the Northwest.
Yeah.
I was happy, right? But I'm still
we'll get to that here in a second, Connor. We were talking all about that.
Listen, I'm just I'm keeping my emotions in check because honestly that was you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it was a piss poor coaching job. I think Coach Kwame, assistant coach Kwame, didn't know how to communicate effectively to make transitions and to stop in Portland's transitional game. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think it's also, I mean, we were talking about this earlier today. There was not, it comes also again in what you said, a lack of coaching. He wasn't into it as Nancy is. He wasn't into it.
To me, it seemed like Porter.
Yeah, there was more sitting down and coaching from the bench than there was standing up at the edge of the technical area, hand movements, directions being told. It's just, I just don't get it. Like, did we just say screw it and just throw this game so we can focus on Leagues Cup, or it just doesn't make sense?
I think he just was trying to escape out of there to give Nancy the whistle back, like, here.
Well, I mean, he has one more game, not including Leagues Cup. He has one more game on suspension. So I mean, I would like to see Johan take the whistle be the man in charge for Cincinnati.
I think after Nancy's sitting up there in that press box in Portland, seeing that, I think he might let Johan coach.
Yeah,
for hell is real.
Go ahead.
Seeing some of the warm-ups there at training today, I didn't see too much communication though from Coach Kwame. As they were gathering, as getting everybody together, you didn't see him talking that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
The positive coming out of this game, El Mago, Lucas Zelarayan.
Where's he at now in the standings?
4.
Golden Boot.
He has
12. He has 12 goals now, I believe, or it might be 10. Let's go ahead and pull MLS up real quick.
Stats. Here we go. He is currently. He has 10 goals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's currently ninth with 10 goals.
Well, there's 1, 4. There's 5 people tied with 10.
So, which means he is 1, 2, 3, tied for fourth.
Tied for 5th.
1.
Because right now
That
it's
makes
Hani.
3. That's 2. 3. He's tied for fourth. Because Hani would be first. Lucho and Denny Buanga will be tied for second. Christian Espinoza will be third. Carranza, Ferreira.
Well, if you actually look at it, Luke Acosta and Bawanga are tied for second, so that's second and third.
Right. That's what. Yeah. So he'd still be fourth.
And then Espinoza is sitting in third with 11, or fourth with 11, and then tied, with Carranza, Ferreira, Yakimakis, Polito
1,
for 5th.
2, 3. No, be fourth. Because 1, 2, 3. I see what you're doing. I see what you're talking about now. 1 tied for, but it because they're tied for second.
But that still has them both at second and third, though.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah. So okay, it's tied for fifth.
Tied for 5th.
Ooh.
I think he brings it home.
Math is hard. Math is hard. I hate math.
I think
I said that Saturday in the stream. I'll use a different word.
I don't remember.
I have no idea either. He's a magic man. Yeah, math is hard. El Mago before halftime. Absolute masterclass.
But who did he get that assist from?
Jason
With that beautiful flick.
gets around David Bingham, puts it in. Literally the last kick of the game, last kick of the half.
There's no way you can stop that.
Yeah. And then was it 65th? I think it was 65th minute. An absolute wonder strike from outside of the box.
I mean,
you just can't really dissect that because it's just a Lucas doing Lucas things.
That was what, a 20-yard, 25-yard strike?
I'd go as much as say 27.
Okay, so almost a 30-yard strike.
Yeah.
That's Lucas's comfort zone.
There's really not much you can say about that.
I mean,
it's as the crew tweeted. He makes the absurd look ordinary.
Yeah.
Or whatever the tweet was.
It's just, I mean, the man is good for 61 yards.
Mm-hmm.
An absolute banger from 61 against, Chicago.
Yeah.
But, almost 30 yards out. I mean, you expect that from him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I heard somebody say, or I saw somebody on Twitter say, yeah, Messi can do that from a free kick and all that, but I'm not going to get excited until, a live ball, when it's not a free kick, to get excited about him hitting a game winner, game winning shot like that. So, which I agree with that statement, because I mean, Lucas is Lucas, right?
Yeah.
Messi is Messi, greatest of all time, right? There's no way you're stopping that free kick from Messi last night, right? Can he be as good as Lucas when the play is live? You know what I'm saying? And it's not a free kick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, European soccer football is different than MLS. To me, I think it's more aggressive here in the MLS than it is European or even international. You know, when he's with Argentina, I just think MLS is a little more aggressive.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you saw the game last night,
Well, I say MLS is a little more aggressive because because of salary. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You don't have guys that are making 20 million pounds, you know what I'm saying, a season, and then the next guy's making, 45. In MLS, you got guys making 450,000. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
500,000. So they're competing and being aggressive so they could get more money. So we'll see how Messi does, but other than that, like I said on the battered herons, can he, the greatest Argentinian, Armenian player right now is Lucas.
Cincinnati fans will have something to say about that. They're going to say Lucho.
I'm not taking nothing away from Lucho and all that, but just look what Lucas does for Columbus.
Yeah. I think
You know what
it's
I'm saying?
yeah. Um so the last goal. It that's just kind of a
Nobody
Debbie
marked him.
a Debbie Downer. Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to mark Sebastian Blanco. It really is.
It is,
Because
but when you don't have nobody paying attention,
yeah, that makes sense also. But what is it that I mean, this is going to sound stupid, but what is it the crew needed to do better defensively?
wake up, play with their heads up,
Yeah.
because they were playing with their heads down.
Mm-hmm.
Portland did a lot of long balls and a lot of diagonals.
And a lot
That
of quick transitions.
and they were able to do the quick transitions because they got the defenders turned around.
Yeah.
They got them turned around so much it looked like they were out there doing ballerina spins. Hell, you would have thought our defensive line were, spin cycles from Maytag. The way that they were spinning around and trying to catch up to Portland's, counter with those quick transitions. So they need to play with their heads up more.
Yeah. I
You know,
think I think another thing is it defensively, I don't think there was any communication. Right?
I think there was, because we all know Marrera, when he's out there on the pitch, he's loud.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was. I just think it was, and it comes back to the lack of coaching,
Yeah.
lack of polling, Marrera or Sean or, Amundsen, whoever else they wanted to put, there on the back line, pulling them to the side and like, okay, what are you seeing? Okay, well, instead of this, let's do this. Try this step instead of this one. Let's start doing more long ball passes to open up that attack.
They had time to fix it. They had 2 hydration breaks, one in the first half, one in the second half. If it didn't work in the first half, the first hydration break, I don't know what else they could have done. Because then next thing you know, you're at halftime. It needed to be fixed at halftime.
Exactly. It should have been fixed at halftime.
Yeah.
But then you get into, okay, they scored the third goal in the 80th minute, right?
Yeah, 80th. Mm-hmm.
I want to know what the hell the thinking was on bringing Madranda in for Aiden.
Dude, don't even get me started on that sub.
Why?
Don't even get me started on that sub, man. I can see Aiden because he wasn't 90 plus ready and whatnot, but he played like he was. But I was getting to that point. Jimmy Madranda is not the answer to that solution. Is not the answer to Aiden Morris not being 90
I would have put in Viacia.
to shore up the back
Defense.
line. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have put in Viacia. Hell, I would even put Josh in.
Also, why did it come so late in the game? That's the next question.
Because he was not reading the dictation of the game.
Yeah. If that's something that head coach Wilfried Nancy has preached on the most is when he wants to make substitutes and how the game talks to him. And he should, and that should be the mentality for the assistant coaches. But apparently it's not.
I mean, there's other people that could have been put in, instead of Madranda.
Yeah.
I said it before. You could have put in Viacia. You could have put in hell. You could have put in Philip Quinton. Quinton probably would have that right there. Putting Quinton at center and moving Moreira out to a wing. Not even a wing, but to one of the backs. That probably would have worked, right? But see. I don't get mad when Nancy does it, right?
Because we trust him.
Well, because he's explained why he does his subs the way he does.
Yeah.
And we see the result of it, right? We didn't get that explanation after the Portland match.
Correct.
We got 3-word, responses, if that, and that was it. Press conferences are usually 12 to 15 minutes long with the coach afterwards. This was 8 minutes.
Really? I got 4 minutes on the recording.
So 4 minutes.
It was like 4.5 at most, I think it was.
4 minutes.
Which is not ideal for a post-match presser. I mean, most of Nancy's are between what?
12 and 15.
12, 15 minutes.
12 and 15.
And it's because he draws out the answers of our questions.
But he's methodical with his responses. And he gives detail about it, right? We didn't get that here. And that is what is so frustrating reporting about, with having assistant coach Kwame, doing the post game. It was so frustrating.
Yeah. Other than that, ready to move on to the next segment?
Let's go. I mean, we got the old kids versus the new kids on the block coming up.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously, the new kids on the block are making some noise over there in the Western Conference. But this is the first meeting of Columbus and St. Louis. For that, we welcome in Justin Hornecker to the podcast. Justin, can you hear us?
Yeah, sound great. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. You guys sound a little fired up, so I'm happy to continue that energy.
And as long as you guys don't bring that black magic from City Park.
It's an environment for sure, and they have struggled a bit on the road. Like outside of those initial wins, they figured it out recently. But yeah, it'll be great to see what happens tomorrow.
We just hope that you don't force our defense into passing it to your attackers.
That's the key. Make sure that your center backs know not to pass it to the attack. I think that's something that needs to be said.
Well, I mean, we do have a makeshift back line, so. But first meeting between the two, Justin, just what can you tell us about St. Louis in general? How are they doing in the West? Are they exceeding expectations? Are they right where they want to be? Are they underperforming, which sounds like an overstatement, but
yeah, I think the big thing is if you go back to like the build up to the start of the season, obviously that next pro team that played Columbus in the final last year was a lot of the kind of like mismatched parts of this team. So they have had a lot of time to play together. And I think that's kind of the main story for the success that they've had this year is that they've had, they had a full year before the season start for a lot of the just kind of squad players to play together. They've had a lot of young players come in. They've had players that haven't been given chances elsewhere, been given a chance in St. Louis and run with it. And then our DPs, Edouard Leuven, João Klaus, Roman Berkey wasn't a DP, but is paid like one. Came in, 6 months before the season started, so they were able to kind of hit the ground running and understand the system that Bradley Carnell asked of them. And if you were to ask me at the start of the season, I think everyone would have said they're looking at a team who is a fringe playoff team that, they just hope don't embarrass themselves out there. And it's a surprise to everyone that they've been in this position. But if you listen to the team talk about it, they are, not necessarily happy with just surprising people and being top of the West.
Good, Joe.
I mean, it's surprised to see that next pro team, is doing what they're doing so far this year. Because that was actually a tough matchup for Crew 2 last year in that final. So what is it about St. Louis that is catching some of these teams off guard?
Yeah, I think it's everyone's pulling in the same direction. Like that might seem, I don't know, maybe a bit cliche to say, but there is a lot of buy-in for what Bradley Carnell tries to do, which is, play that typical Red Bull style. So it's a lot of high press, a lot of aggressive play. And when you watch these guys go, there is no quit from the start to the end. And there's a lot of kind of mix and match in this roster. Outside of Edouard Lewin, outside of João Klaus, outside of Roman Berkey, you could pretty much say there are 2 players for every position. And that's been key, especially when you go through the summer in MLS and, that fixture congestion. They have players that they can throw in who have been looking for opportunities that are kind of getting them. When you look at AZ Jackson and Sam Adeniran, 2 players who have really come through recently. Those are players who, were prospects, kind of not struggled, but ran to a roadblock along the way. And now they've had a free path to the MLS and have really taken it, taking the ball and run with it, so to say.
Looking at the standings, 43 goals for, 27 against, a 13-8-2 record. What has been the key to success so far for St. Louis?
Yeah, I think if you watch the games where they've struggled and watch the games where they play really well, it comes down to forward defending. So that press that we always talk about, it asks a lot of the players. It's obviously draining. That was kind of what everyone talked about after the initial win streak was. Come June, July, this team would be out of gas. But a lot of the keys for Bradley Carnell's system is in winning the ball up the pitch. If you look at how great they've been defensively over the past few months, when they went through that stretch of games where they kind of fell off and then they got it back. And you look at those stretch of games and defensively they've been very solid and they don't give up a ton of chances from kind of setups. They are a little bit susceptible out wide and set on the counter at times, but for the most part, a lot of that comes from just winning the ball further up the pitch. And really that buy-in is so important. And, it's players that were brought in that really fit Bradley Carnell's coaching style. And I think having a style and being committed to that style goes a long way in this league, really.
So what about the St. Louis's attack that is the most dangerous?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say because they get contributions from everywhere. And at the start of the season, it was through João Klaus. He's been hurt for a bit now and had some setbacks in his injury. So, Sam Adeniran and Nico Gioacchini and AZ Jackson have kind of come in to be, that spark plug. But it's hard to say what one particular success is. They've kind of had success as a complete team. So, bigger than some of their parts. And of course, set pieces, they've been very good in that aspect too. So if you look at kind of their final game for the Leagues Cup break against Inter Miami, they had 0 goals from run of play, but they had 2 goals from corners and a Edouard Lewin set piece goal. That was spectacular. So they've kind of taken their spots where they can get them. And if you look at their kind of expected goals, they typically outscore their expected goal output. So you can either view that as lucky or view that as a team kind of taking their chance where they can. But that's kind of there isn't one play driver outside of maybe Edouard Lewin. You saw that when he was injured that, they had to kind of figure out how to build play down the pitch without him. But outside of that, it's really just having players that can understand their assignment, understand what's being asked of them. And it's a very tight-knit group. They work hard, they compete. And Bradley Carnell always talks about how from the top of the team down to the 2 team, everyone is kind of expected to be doing the same things throughout the week. So you can take a guy, plug him in, they'll know what's expected of them. And, you look at the teams that bring in high dollar players that don't necessarily have a style, but they're expecting the players to kind of dictate the style. And that's where you run into issues in this league. And they have had some luck also.
First time facing off against Columbus in MLS play, I should say, is the Leagues Cup. I don't know how it is in St. Louis, but we had media availability today with head coach Wilfried Nancy, Christian Ramirez, Jason Russell Rowe, and who's it? Patrick Schulte. They talked about the prep a lot. What has been just the message around St. Louis regarding prep wise for this match?
Yeah, Bradley Carnell took a moment to talk about it after the Miami game and just how they are looking at this as an opportunity to continue their momentum. So they end this MLS break on top of the West. They have a 4-point lead. What they really want to do is advance out of the group so that they can keep playing soccer. And, I think it's maybe a bit of a disconnect between the fans and the team, because the fans kind of want that built-in break, right? Of like, they're viewing it as, okay, you can go out of the group stage and have 2 weeks to kind of rest up and recover. But you won't hear any of the players talk like that. They definitely want full commitment to this competition. And I think the ability to kind of measure yourself against the Crew and against Club America, these two, the Crew are perennial Eastern Conference playoff contenders. Club America, perennial Liga MX, top of the table contenders. So it's a very tough group. And I think they're, looking forward to the challenge from both Bradley Carnell and Edward Leuven talked to the media today. And that was kind of the main takeaway.
Would you say this is the group of death?
I would say so. Yeah. It's like, even if you view St. Louis as kind of the minnow in a big pond, like Columbus with Wilfried Nancy and what you all have been able to do, like that's comparing this team to how they were last year under Caleb Porter. It's like night and day. It's a tough team to play. Yeah.
Man,
we say that all the time.
Yeah. It's definitely it's a different team. It's also a more fun team to watch, I would say.
I think that's the thing too, not to cut you off, Ty, but
oh no, you're fine.
I think all three of these teams play a very exciting style, and all of the matchups are going to be fun soccer regardless.
Yeah. Heading into this match, what is it that Columbus would need to look out for against St. Louis besides somehow giving your attackers the ball and scoring against us?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how teams have had success in the past, and it's come from switching the ball across the field quickly and attacking out wide. There's St. Louis kind of purposely gives up the wide space at times because their fullbacks bomb forward so much. So and they overload the side of the pitch that they want to pass the ball down. So there's a lot of exploits that teams have seemed to have some success over just switching the play quickly and counterattacking that way. The other way I think you saw this in, I forget which game it was, but at times they do kind of, when they have the press fully engaged and they can kind of get teams, I guess, the LAFC game. So they had LAFC kind of really hemmed in their half and almost force a turnover. But from that, Jose Cifuentes was able to kind of play a ball over the top to Carlos Vela, and both the center backs were pitched in, and that's kind of how they broke that game open. So there are opportunities where they maybe overcommit, that teams that have midfield like Columbus do that can't control the ball very well and hit those kind of long passes can take advantage of.
So let me ask you, about the supporter section here for Columbus, the Nordeca. Can you talk about the supporter section for St. Louis and what they've meant for the team?
Yeah, it's been big. I mean, the players always talk about it. And obviously with being an expansion team, I think there's a lot of excitement around it, but St. Louis has always been a big soccer city. I mean, you see that when the national teams play here, just like the history of St. Louis as a soccer culture. The stadium is loud. It makes a lot of noise. And I think having that noise, and you guys know it in Columbus, having that noise of the crowd, does seem to push the team forward a bit. Of like, in a moment where you have to put in that little extra effort to get to the ball, you have the crowd behind you. That's a big motivating factor. And the City Park has been a very energetic and loud experience. There have been a couple of moments where I've never heard a stadium as loud as it can get. Now, some of that is the way that it's designed, obviously. And up in the press box, where like you can kind of get the reflection off the ceiling. So Miggy Perez scored his first MLS goal at City Park, and I don't think I've heard anything quite that loud being in the stadium. So that was such an amazing experience. And the players have all kind of talked about just how loud it's been, and how, as an opposing team, how I guess some players do get up for that experience, right? But it can also be a little bit of a throw you off your nerves kind of thing as well.
And I saw, I think you guys did it earlier in the year where you guys brought the dogs to the park.
They have I think it's sponsored by Purina, but there's a section in kind of in the suites area where, you can bring a pet to the park, and they have a pet of the match. It's always nice. I enjoy seeing the dogs in the big screen personally. It's one of the joys of being sponsored by Purina, I guess, is that they have a lot of pets on hand.
So you wouldn't be opposed to if MLS started doing the puppy walkout?
Absolutely not. Yeah, I would enjoy that very much.
Who's our sponsor? I can't remember who our sponsor is.
Which one?
The main shirt sponsor.
Nationwide.
Nationwide.
That's right.
There you go.
I mean, we got on your sleeve, the cure for childhood cancer.
Oh yeah.
So,
you guys sign Icelandic forward. I don't know how to say his name.
Noki Thorisson. Yes.
Okay.
Did you say Thor?
Yeah.
Is
son of Thor.
Is he going to be added to the roster for Leagues Cup, or is St. Louis just trying to get him match fit ready, possibly for knockouts?
Yeah, I think the goal is to have him ready. I don't know. It all depends on how long it takes to get his visa. So when they signed Jabulu Blom earlier this year, coming from South African League, that's like about a month from the time they signed him to the time that they could get his visa. And from there, kind of a slow start because of that. And then I think he got sick like right away. So Thorson, not being from one of the major leagues, it might take a little bit to kind of get him here and get his work visa and start training. So I don't think he is going to be ready for the Leagues Cup. He also is out of season. His season ended in May. So it isn't a signing where it's like, okay, this guy's going to come in, he's going to completely turn the team around. It's more of a signing in the vein of players they've already signed, like Rasmus Holm, where it's these wingers / strikers who can bring definitely some dynamic skills to the attack, but not necessarily going to be a player that an opposing team is going to game plan specifically for. But he has a lot of skill that, especially in the wide areas, he's 6'2". That's something that they kind of need as well, that height in the attack. So especially from their wing players. So nothing that Columbus has to worry about necessarily, but it's a signing that I think is going to be a nice depth addition from what they have currently.
So if you were the head coach for St. Louis, right? Pick your 3 players from Columbus that you would tell the team that they need to watch out for.
Christian Ramirez, Lucas Zelarayan for sure. I mean, that attack is tough. When I was doing my preview, like all the 3-pronged attack that they have is, I think, dangerous. And Lucas Zelarayan, I think, is one of the best midfielders in the league. So that's a player that always is someone that you have to be paying attention to.
We were talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably say, Gerald, to answer that question, if you were to ask me that question, I would say, throw in like Aiden Morris or Alex Matan.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because, those are 2 guys that kind of, I don't want to say get overlooked, but they can definitely break you if you're not paying attention.
Yeah. And I think that's important with every quality team, is that they have the players that get all the shine, and then the players that are maybe a defensive midfielder let's say, are a winger or fullback that
Mhm.
are, more of the lifeblood of the team that don't necessarily get talked about as much. That's kind of Jabulu Blom's role in St. Louis, is that you can definitely notice the games where he's playing and the games where he isn't because of how, stable they are defensively with him in there.
Justin, one last question from me. What is I would say your key to the game for St. Louis?
I think it's going to be whose style of game, who can kind of dictate their style to the game first. I think that it was similar in the LAFC game. I keep going back to that, but LAFC and St. Louis both have a completely different style, and I think Columbus and St. Louis are in that kind of same vein. So who can dictate the pace of play, who can dictate the style of the game? And I think that's, if Columbus can play their game, they have a better chance of, disorganizing St. Louis. If St. Louis can rush Columbus and really press them deep and win the ball deep in the field, then it will benefit them for sure.
I will say we do have Cucho Hernandez back, so that's a plus. So
that's good.
Gerald, anything else from you?
I remember hearing from beginning part of the season, there was a rumor going around about City Park that it was built on a gravesite. That's the reason why, opposing teams have, always pass it to your guys'.
Well, yeah. So downtown St. Louis in general is built on like the Cahokia tribe's ancient burial grounds, essentially. So it's always like the running joke when St. Louis teams have all these injuries. It's like, well, they were built on a gravesite. So,
so do you I do have actually one more question. Do you see the similarities in lower.com as you do in City Park?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're both those type of stadiums that are built like with the fan experience in mind, both the newer stadiums, and I think the fan environment in both of them is pretty phenomenal. Like I wasn't able to get to Columbus for this game, but I definitely want to see a game in Columbus at some point because I think the atmosphere there is so spectacular.
Well, that answered one of my other questions. I asked because I know you told me you were traveling. I didn't know if you were traveling to Columbus or going.
No, yeah, we went on vacation last week with the family, so that was kind of
nice. All right, 2 lighthearted questions before we don't take up too much time of your evening. First off, is a prediction for the match.
I'm going to say I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. That's going to be my cop-out prediction.
who wins in penalties?
Oh, that's right. I think City win in penalties. I forgot that it goes to penalties, but they have some good penalty takers, and Edouard Liedvin is probably one of the better free kick specialists in the league, and that's an X factor.
I just hope it doesn't go 16-15 like Vancouver. And
that was phenomenal. Yeah,
that was absolutely wild.
I don't know if I have it in me for that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I have to get up and teach a summer program the next morning, so at 8:30 in the morning. Well, yeah, it's fine, but I have to teach high school kids about event planning and podcasting at 8:30 in the morning.
They can sense when you're tired. Those high school kids.
Last one is I just implemented a segment that I had when I started this podcast a while back ago. I brought it back. It's called a yellow card, red card. So basically, what it is, it doesn't have to be soccer related at all. It can be anything in life, such as Chipotle getting your order wrong. Or somebody breaking into your car, something like that. So a yellow card would be, and I don't have my cards with me. Yellow card would be something you don't like but can tolerate, and then a red card is something you absolutely despise. So What would your yellow card and red card be?
Let's see. My yellow card would be Chicago traffic, because we just had to drive through that this week to get home. We were up in Michigan City for our family gets a beach house along the lake every summer, so it's kind of fun. But then every time you hit that that traffic outside Chicago as you're trying to come back to St. Louis, and it hurts my insides. Red card, I'll say, and this is on my mind just with the Leagues Cup and with kind of the World Cup going on, but people that are very beholden to, let's say, the Premier League. There's a lot of people that are kind of U.S. soccer fans that say they're U.S. soccer fans, but only watch the Premier League or will take any chance they can to say like something against Messi coming to MLS. Like I was so enthralled by that last night, but every time you have people saying that like it's a retirement league because Messi scored on one of his first touches. But
yeah,
he's just such a, I don't know, best player in the world still that it's going to happen.
it shows the quality that he still has at, what is he, 36?
Yeah, him and Busquets, like you watch them combine the second they got onto the field, and it reminds you just how fantastic those players are.
Oh yeah, and it also goes to show that they still have it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially coming from La Liga.
They're still missing Alba and Suarez and Esta.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of ground to make up, but like just those two alone in that midfield are going to make a big difference. And yeah, it's obviously the most interesting story in MLS right now. But will they be able to catch up in time for the playoffs is the big question.
Yeah. Justin, my man, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully for our sake we win, but you know, it's always good to
I just hope everyone has fun.
Yeah, it's always good to see a good game, especially with two of the most dynamic, threatening teams in the league. So
yeah, I think every game in this group is going to be an exciting watch. So hopefully it lives up to that hype.
By far. Justin, thank you, man, so much for sticking around, talking to us about Leagues Cup in St. Louis.
Yeah, and, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Hopefully we'll catch up again sometime in MLS Cup final.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Good guy.
Yeah.
It's cool. St. Louis, man. This is going to be tough, man. Honestly, this is going to be so tough.
But you heard it from him, and I believe you heard it from. Oh, which one said it? Patrick. The similar playing styles are like the Red Bulls.
Yeah. That was definitely Patrick Schulte.
You know what I'm saying? So if you watch tape of the Red Bulls matches, minus Boyko.
No, that was NYCFC.
Okay.
But still, nonetheless.
Yeah. Didn't we have Uncle for that game?
For Red Bulls?
Yeah. I have to go back and look.
I have to go back and look. I think so.
But both New York teams, if we had Uncle for Red Bulls, that just would have been like
Sergio Boyko for Hell is Real, please. Sergio Boyko for Hell is Real.
I quit. Because there will be no way that I could sit up in that press box with him reffing Hell is Real.
Oh, come on, man. It'd be fun.
Rob will pull my credential.
Oh, man.
But
yeah,
no. Because I'll be told to leave.
Yeah.
No, you got to watch the tape of the Red Bulls game, and then I didn't want to say this with him on there, but if that's the same pretty much St. Louis team from Next Pro, which it looks like it is, Marcos sort of said something during the post game after the championship.
I remember that
the coaches said, "Yeah, just wait 25 minutes, and then their game is unlocked." And after the 25th minute, here comes Marco with an unbelievable goal. Don't know how it went in, off of a corner. And the Crew went on to, I think, 4-1 or a 4-2 win over St. Louis City too.
4-1.
Yeah. I can't remember that. I just remember seeing the black and gold confetti going everywhere.
Of course.
But needless to say, if they dissect the St. Louis matches that they've seen on film and they overlap it with the Red Bulls, you see the similarities. It's gonna be a fun, hard match. But I'll save my prediction for later.
Key to the game:
play with your head up, pay attention, communicate more, and I'm going to go back to saying it because every time I say it, they do it. Be the damn dictator and not the dictated.
What was I going to ask? I was going to ask you something else. I just can't remember what it was. If it comes back to me, I'll ask you. Predictions. Ready?
We doing all 10? 5 tonight, 5 tonight, 5 tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to do anyway. Starting
30 minutes?
Tonight, yeah, 30 minutes from now. 39 minutes to be exact. Remember, it's 7:39 kickoff. Saturday, 7:30, Montreal Pumas from Stade Saputo.
Oh.
Reminder, no draws. This has to have a winner.
Give me Pumas.
I can see that happening. Actually, no. Give me Montreal 2-1.
Pumas 2-0.
Pumas 2-0.
Mm-hmm. Are you writing this down?
No, I was making sure that my phone was still charging. My phone's not charging. You said Pumas 2-1?
2-0.
2-0. Okay, I'm gonna go Montreal 2-1. New York, New England.
Oof.
Yeah.
It just seems like they played just a few weeks ago.
Right.
Give me New England 2-1.
New England 2-1.
Yes.
Give me 1-1 after regulation. Give me New England winning 5-4 in penalties. Philadelphia, Tijuana.
Oof. Philly hasn't done so well with playing Liga MX teams. It is in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
They got Carranza, Dazgog. Andre Blake is back.
Yeah, that's big. That's big for Philly.
But Tijuana, though, man. Let's see.
I don't have the Liga MX
I got it here.
Standings on me right now.
Tijuana sits 8th with a record of 1-1-1.
Well, I said their season,
They just started.
Second season just started, I think. Yeah. Or their first season just started. Because in a year they play twice. They have 2 seasons, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Give me Philly.
I back that. I was going to say Philly 3-1.
I'll take that.
Philly 3-1.
Because Tijuana goals for 5, goals allowed 5.
Okay. Yeah. So they give up a lot of goals. They've given up a lot of goals in 3 games, it sounds like.
Just as much. They've given up as many goals as they scored.
Okay.
They sit with a 1-1-1 record in 3 matches so far this season.
So we both go 3-1 Philly?
Yeah.
Salt Lake, Seattle.
This is a tough one for me because Salt Lake has become a different team. Since Ticho came back, since they traded Justin Miram. I forget I think they might have signed somebody else as well. But we're also talking about Seattle.
Yeah. Jordan Morris, Christian Rodon, Nico Lagero, Raul Ruiz Diaz.
You know what I'm saying? So I wish there was draws, but then again, I don't wish there was draws.
Yeah, same.
Because this one, I mean, it's in Salt Lake. Seattle's favored, or no, Salt Lake is favored.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Seattle 3-2.
Give me Salt Lake. Give me 1-1 after regulation. Salt Lake 3-0. No, that's too ambitious. 5-3 on penalties.
That's fair.
By the way, New England just dropped their lineup.
Oh, do they got no Buck?
They do have They do have Noah Buck. So they have Petrovic, Jones, Romney, Farrell, By, Mark Anthony K, Harks, Buck, Carles Heel, Bobby Wood, and Gustavo Bo.
Did you say Hart?
Harks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he just come over with the Toronto trade?
That was K.
Okay. The blessing for K.
Yeah, that was K. I thought they had somebody else also.
Give that lineup right there. Give me New England, give me New England with my same score.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm changing it now.
Fair. Same.
But as far as Real Salt Lake, we already got those ones. What's the next one?
The next one is Timbers Earthquakes.
Both teams are sitting right there at the mid of the Western Conference right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right there around the playoff line. Portland's coming off of a big match against Columbus. As we talked about earlier in the show, it still hurts to say that. But it was a night where Valari was recognized as in the Ring of Honor there for Portland. This is in Portland. So, Timber Joey is might be busy cutting some more log off.
Yeah.
And singing "You Are My Sunshine."
Love that, by the way.
I actually started watching from the first episode of Rituals and found out, and watched the Portland one.
Timber Jim.
Yeah. And that it was that singing "You Are My Sunshine" was his daughter's favorite song.
Yeah.
That died in a car accident.
Yeah, and then I think was the first game after that he asked the Timbers Army to sing that in the, I want to say it's the 73rd or 75th. They sing it at a specific time.
Which is right around the time when, she passed.
Yeah. Yep. I already know who I have.
I already know who you got. Give me, I think it ends in a 2-2 draw, right? Going into PKs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think San Jose wins it 5-4.
Ooh. Give me 3-0 Portland.
Fair.
Also, that game is free on Apple TV and on Fox Sports 1. So, for those who are watching that want to watch Timber San Jose tonight, want to stay up late, game starts at 7 o'clock.
Not I, said the captain.
I will. Going to Sunday, New York City Atlas, 7 o'clock from Citi Field.
So Atlas sits at 1-1-1. Goals 4-2, goals allowed 1. So they've only scored 2 goals.
Sorry, I had to sneeze so bad.
You're fine. They've only scored 2 goals so far in this season for that just started, right?
Mm-hmm.
New York City is a dumpster fire right now.
Mm?
Yes. because of some of the proposed trades that are coming about. That people are leaving. You know what I'm saying?
There's there's one already been confirmed today.
Yeah, by Tom.
I didn't see the one Tom said. Is it Gabriel Pereira?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, he's on his way to Qatar.
Yeah, so like I said, New York City is a dumpster fire right now. The whole city.
I mean, I guess that is fair. They sit 13th.
The whole city of New York is a dumpster fire. If you want to, well, I can't say the whole New York City because Red Bulls sit in New Jersey. So, I'm going with the upset over this one. I think it's a 1-0 Atlas over New York.
Give me 2-1 Atlas. Cincinnati, Kansas City from TQL.
I'm going to go with the upset. 3-2. Because somehow, some way, Peter Vermees has turned the season around.
He's got himself off the hot seat.
For now. Till the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think he's bided himself, he bided himself some time till the end of the season, turning things around.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is where FC Cincinnati might not be taking this one too serious. And it bites them.
Okay.
Because I don't think they might not fully comprehend what Leagues Cup actually means, though, for first, second, and third.
Yeah.
Because
they're more focused on getting in
MLS
or winning the Supporter Shield or Open Cup.
Yeah, because they got they got Messi coming for Open Cup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're more focused on how do we stop him? Or is it, get out of Leagues Cup, have hell is real, and secure the Supporter Shield for first round bye, home field, throughout the whole playoffs if they make it all the way to the finals.
Yeah.
I just think KC might pull it off. This is where I'm going to go. What I want and what's going to happen.
Okay.
What I want is KC to win 3-2.
Okay.
What I think is going to happen is Cincinnati's going to win 3-1.
I can back that, actually. I can back the 3-1. I mean, essentially the same thing. What I want is KC to win, but I actually think Cincinnati's going to run away with it. Bupenza got that goal against Nashville right before the break. Although I'm still questioning how he was onside. He is beyond me.
But Nashville was playing with 9 players.
Yeah, I mean that's also a good shout. But I just think he was
offside.
I was I mean there's no way that he is just that onside. He's like 10 yards behind the second to last defender. But I think Cincinnati runs away with it. I think Bupenza is he got his legs under him against Nashville in league play, and I think he is going to help Cincinnati kind of take this one to KC. So I'm gonna say 3-1 Cincinnati. Here it is. Say that for last. Nashville, Colorado.
This is where I think Nashville comes out pissed off. They were screwed over against FC Cincinnati.
Okay.
By the ref. You would have thought Boyko was reffing that match. Again. They have everybody. Schaufelberg is back healthy. Hanny's healthy. Liao is going to be there. Bunbury is going to be there. All the rumors about Hani going to Qatar for 10 million. That's shut down. Now it's focus on this. So Nashville 4-0.
Give me
Best
two.
mustache in the league gets a clean sheet.
Joe Willis.
Yes.
Give me 2-2 after regulation. Give me a 6-5 Nashville win on penalties. Puebla, Minnesota.
Well, season just started, right?
That's weird.
What?
Minnesota's listed as the away team, but they're playing in Minnesota. Is this whole thing being played in America?
Yes.
All right. Well then.
Season just started, like we've said about for Liga MX.
Mm-hmm.
Puebla is 0-1-2. Goals for 3, goals allowed 7. Give me Minnesota 3-0.
Minnesota 3-0.
Yes.
Give me nothing after regulation. Give me a 5-4 win, or give me a 5-4 win for Minnesota.
Okay.
Last but not least, Columbus, St. Louis.
I think this is going to be a high-scoring match. And I'm going to say at the end of regulation, 4-2 Columbus.
Give me 3-2 Columbus.
I could back that too. But I think they score 4 and limit St. Louis to 2.
Okay. Other than that, no more games until 25th.
Do you want to predict just one on Tuesday?
Is it Miami, Atlanta?
Yes.
All right, run it.
I think this is where Messi suffers his first loss in MLS.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be in Atlanta, I
Okay.
believe. Even though it doesn't look like it is. I think the reunion, the Tata Martinez playing against his old squad. Yes,
coaching against his old squad.
Yeah, well, coaching, playing. You might as well say
Joseph Martinez.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of emotions, but you got two teammates going at it head to head. Almada versus Messi. Two players that both know each other's style.
Both World Cup winners.
And this is where I think Almada tries to make his name. Puts his name out there.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be, I'll say a 3-2 win for United.
I'm going to go 2-1 Miami.
What, a brace?
Messi, I would say Messi gets 1 goal, 1 assist.
Do we see Alba?
Probably. Probably, more than likely. Other than that, dude.
Last segment.
All right. Yellow card, red card. Again, for those at home, yellow card would be something that you don't like but can tolerate. Red card is something you absolutely despise. Gerald, I'll let you go first.
Oh, my yellow card would have to be. People at checkout lines.
Okay.
Right? You've already got your stuff rang up. Stop talking on your phone long enough that you can pay the clerk and get the hell out of the line. Nobody needs to hear you and your girlfriend or you and whoever on the phone gossiping or yelling at each other. Tell them, hold on, I got to pay for this real quick. Pay for your shit and get the hell out of the line.
Pay for your shit. Get up out the line, man.
I can tolerate it, but I hate it.
Okay.
My red card. People that try to imitate your lifestyle. Absolutely hate it. To where they try to be you.
Okay.
Where everything that they want to be you so bad. So they start mimicking you. Doing, laughs, stances, start having conversations and
saying words that
saying that you would say, or you're having a conversation with somebody and they overhear something and then they go out and do it before you do it. Like that really like you want to get to the point to where you just want to turn around and ask them like, so are you and me a couple because you want to be me? Or when can I use you as my stunt double? Because, you're really riding me right now.
Yeah.
I hate it.
All right. Those are two pretty good ones, actually. All right. I would say my yellow card would be well, I gotta give two because I didn't have one last week.
Yeah.
All right. So
you didn't have a red card last week.
I didn't have. Oh, I gotta give two reds because I didn't have one last week. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. All right. So I would say my yellow card would be, oh man. Oh, what is it? I had it today too. I just had it today. Screw it. Yellow would be Ohio weather. Because look, man, why was it storming the other night? Was it Thursday? And today was like freaking 88 degrees and burning up. Like
it's the soccer gods.
I'll tolerate it because I live here. But like, make up your mind, Mother Nature.
It's the soccer gods.
Gee whiz, man. Nobody wants to know when Mother Nature's on her PMS, and it's just stupid. All right, so okay. All right, so my first red. Oh man, this is rough. Because my first red is people who tend to lead others on and lie and then tell you the truth later. If that makes sense. Because why? Just be upfront in the first place. Just be straight up honest in the first place. We're grown adults. We're human beings. we're like 25, 26, 27, 28, however old we are. We're adults. We're human beings. Just say it, man. I mean, yeah, you're gonna hurt people's feelings, but just don't lie, bro. Don't lie no more. And then my second one would be I'd have to go Cash App.
Why Cash App?
Bro, I've been getting random freaking charges on my card for $1.08 from TikTok Live, Google.
Somebody's got your card numbers.
Yeah, clearly, man. Like, why? Like, what is happening right now? But yeah, so I'd have to go. Huh?
They have no security.
I have to go Cash App. That's why I got a Huntington card. I have to go Cash App. It's a good thing that they got declined though, because all the money that's in my Cash App is in the savings.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's not getting taken out. They'd have to go like actually into the account, but they keep getting declined. But I just don't know why it's doing that. Also, it changed my I went to Boston's one day, and one of my friends was my server and whatnot. So I paid for my food and whatnot. For somehow, some way, it double charged my card and then gave me a partial refund. Cash App did. And I'm like,
that might have been their Boston system.
Probably. It might have been the system. But I'm like, ain't no way I spent $136 at Boston's. All I got was a pizza, a beer, and some loaded fries. That came out to like $40-something.
Hey, I bet you're betting one hell of a pizza.
Oh, it was. It was just regular cheese pizza, large cheese pizza. It was quite tasty. Quite tasty. I loved it. Delicious. Chef's kiss. But yeah, so those are my 2 red cards and a yellow card. By the way, everybody, before we leave, did you hear that? Was that you?
Mm-hmm.
Were you laughing?
Mm-mm.
Bro, I just heard laughing in my headphones.
I got something playing.
Oh, okay. Everybody, some big things happening here in the next week or so for the show. Also, we want your feedback. What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? We are dropping a suggestion box on our Twitter feed. Write us, DM us. It doesn't matter. Make this more engaging for you guys and whatnot. So drop us some suggestions in the replies. DM us on Twitter at Wisemen Pod. And yeah, but other than that, we got some big things coming within the next week or so, I'd say. Pardon me. And hopefully y'all like it. And we can keep this thing going.
Hey, I mean, if we can hear this at the end, I'm a happy man.
I'll be sure. You sent me the files, right?
Yeah, but
right.
I'll be happy to hear that tomorrow night. You know. But, once again, also too, like Ty said, we do have some exciting and big things coming for the show. We do also have the listener support link there that you can find in our Twitter bio and on Spotify. And I believe on every episode. If you would like to donate, you could donate. Every little penny helps. So not only does it go to keeping, the show running, new equipment, but it also helps with travel to get to some of these games and bring you the content that you, the crew fans, truly deserve. Uh, Jewel of a city here in Columbus, as Don Garber has said. But not only that, the best fans in MLS that have fought so hard to keep the team here in Columbus, rooted in history, respect your roots. Um, you know, an MLS original going up against New Kids on the Block. So we have that supporter link there, so that way we could get you, the fans, the content that you truly, truly deserve.
Other than that, Gerald, my friend, it's been a pleasure.
Always.
I'm gonna turn on this game, whoever's playing first, and play some Apex, and probably write a preview for the League's Cup game tomorrow. But as tradition goes, wise men say,
Only fools rush in.
peace out, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. See y'all tomorrow at LDC.
Stay wise, y'all.
I clicked the wrong button, everybody.